my name's Julie. Today I'll be doing cranial nerve testing. We're going to start by testing the olfactory nerve. So I'm going to have you close your eyes, and then I'm going to have you include one of your nostrils. Perfect. I'm going to place something underneath your nose. I'm going to have you sniff and tell me if you can see what odor it is. And smell.
Cinnamon.
Perfect. Cover up the other nostril. Do the same thing.
Cinnamon.
Perfect. And did each smell seem about the same?
Yes.
Okay. An abnormal response would be if you're unable to identify the smell, or if there was the smell is unequal between the sides. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is test the optic nerve. So to do that, I'm going to test your visual acuity. So I'm going to have you cover up your left eye, and looking out there, read the smallest line that you can.
OHPNTZ.
Very nice. That's 2015. Cover up the other eye.
Same one. OHPNTZ.
Very nice. So 2015 ODOS. We're also going to test your side vision, so visual field. Going to cover up that left eye, and looking right here, tell me how many fingers I'm holding up.
1, 5,
Looking right here.
2, 1.
Okay, cover up the other eye. We'll do the same thing. Looking right here.
5, 1,
Looking here again.
2, 1.
Very nice. I'm going to have you hold on to that. Next, we'll do color vision testing via the red cap saturation test. Going to have you cover up that left eye. Looking right here, if this red is worth $100, going to have you cover up the other eye now. How much is this red now worth?
Still $100.
Still $100? Very nice. Abnormal response would have been if it was less than $100. Next, we're going to test pupil response. So I'm going to have you look out there at that target for me. I'm just going to shine the light in each eye. First, looking for a direct response to the light, so equal constriction. Next, we'll test consensual response. Push the light further away. Maybe not. So I'm going to shine the light in the left eye, looking for a constriction in the right eye, and it does constrict. So positive consensual response and a positive consensual response. Next, we're going to test for an APD using the swinging flashlight test. Keep looking straight ahead. Just going to hold the light in front of the right eye, hold it for about 3 seconds. Switch to the other eye, making sure that both eyes stay equally constricted to the light, and that there's no dilation. Perfect. The next cranial nerve that we'll be testing is the ocular motor, trochlear, and abducens, using the physiological H. So what I'm going to have you do is hold your head still, but follow my light with your eyes. Let me know if my light ever breaks into 2, or if you ever experience any pain. So here I'm watching to make sure that both eyes move together to all gazes. An abnormal response would be seeing constriction in any of the gazes. Very good. Also, as part of this testing, I'm going to check a combination, which is the ocular motor nerve. I'm going to have you look at that F out there for me. And then when I tell you to switch, I'm going to have you look right here at this E. So first looking at the F. Okay, and then look at the E. And then back at the F. And then right at the E. So a positive result or good result is seeing constriction to the near target, which I did see. Abnormal would be no constriction or slow constriction to the near target. The next cranial nerve that we're going to be testing is the trigeminal. We'll first be testing the motor portion of it. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you clench your teeth. Very good. I'm going to touch both sides of the masseter muscle and the temporal muscle to make sure that both feel equally contracted. And they do. Very nice. Abnormal response would be feeling weaker on one side of the face compared to the other. Next, we're just going to test the sensory portion of the trigeminal nerve. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. I'm just going to lightly touch different areas. Let me know that you feel this.
Yes. Yes.
Now I'm touching jaw.
Yes.
Perfect. Gonna do the same thing, just other side. Let me know if it feels equal to the previous side.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay, very nice. Abnormal response would have been sensation difference between the two sides. The next cranial nerve that I'll be testing is again the sensory portion of the trigeminal, but also the motor portion of the facial. So you're supposed to click on it. So I'm going to have you look up and away for me. I'm going to use my cotton wisp. I'm going to come from the side and I'm going to touch the cornea. There we go. And a normal response, like he did, is blinking. Since he's feeling the sensation, we'll do the same thing, other eye. Look up and away, slightly touching the cornea. Okay, normal response is blinking. Abnormal response would be if the patient did not blink. The next cranial nerve that I'll be testing is the facial nerve. To test this, you kind of, throughout the exam, will be looking at the patient, making sure that both sides of the face appear symmetrical, which they do. Abnormal would be weakness on one side or the other. I'm also going to have the patient do several different facial expressions to make sure that both sides are symmetric. So, Luke, I'm going to have you start by raising your eyebrows. Both eyebrows go up the same amount. Very nice. Now I'm going to have you frown. And now I'm going to have you smile. Very good. And then puff out both cheeks for me. I'm going to push them a little bit, making sure equal there. Looks good. And then close both eyes tightly. I'm going to try to open them. Okay, very good. Abnormal responses would have been asymmetry and a frown and a smile. Being able to push in the cheeks and then being able to open the eyes or open one of the eyes. So just asymmetry between each side of the face. The next cranial nerve that we'll be testing is the vestibular cochlear. So, and this is just a hearing assessment. So for the first part of this test, I'm going to have you cover up one ear. I'm going to hold, I'm not in the picture, I'm going to hold my fingers about an arm's length away from his ears. I'm going to rub my fingers together and see if he can see if he can hear it. And if he can, I'm going to bring my arm closer until he can hear it. Okay, covering that ear.
I hear it.
Okay, and he hears it at an arm's distance away there. Gonna have you cover up the other ear. Gonna again hold my hand at arm's length away from his ear.
I hear it.
Okay, and he hears it. That is a normal response. An abnormal response is a difference in the distance away that the person can hear the sound. Next, we're just going to do another test for the vestibular cochlear nerve. What I'm going to have you do is just look straight ahead. I'm going to place this tuning fork in the center of your forehead. Let me know if you hear equal loudness in each ear from this.
Yep.
Sound appears equally loud?
Yep.
Perfect. An abnormal response would have been asymmetry. If they have a normal response where they hear equal sounds, it's a negative Weber test. Next, we're going to do the rhyme test, which is another one for the vestibular cochlear nerve. For this one, I'm going to place the tuning fork behind each ear on the mastoid process. Wait until he no longer hears the sound, and then move it in front of his ear and see if he can still hear the sound there. So we'll start with your left ear here.
I hear it.
Let me know when you no longer hear it.
Okay, I don't anymore.
Do you hear it here?
Barely, yeah.
Okay. That is a normal result. We'll do the same thing other ear. Let me know when you stop hearing it.
Okay, I don't hear it. I hear it.
Okay, that's a normal result. An abnormal result would have been if he could hear it still on the bone, but when I moved it to the ear, he couldn't hear it. That would signal conduction loss if it's greater in the bone than in the ear. The next cranial nerve that we will be testing is the glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve. So for this one, I'm just going to ask you, do you have any difficulty swallowing?
No.
No? Okay. Problem with this nerve might result in difficulty swallowing. Next, I'm going to have you say ah, and while he's doing that, I'm going to watch the movement of the soft palate and the uvula. So say ah. Okay, perfect. With this test, you want to make sure that the soft palate rises symmetrically on both sides and that the uvea remains in the midline. If one side of the soft palate does not rise, or if the uvea is pulled toward or is deviated from midline, that shows that there is a problem. The next cranial nerve we'll be testing is the spinal accessory nerve. To do this, I'm just going to observe my patient and see if one shoulder looks like it's drooping. If both shoulders look symmetrical, that's normal. One shoulder drooping, that would be abnormal. I'm also going to place my hands and apply some resistance to his shoulders. And then I'm going to have him shrug his shoulders for me. Perfect. I'm just checking to make sure that I'm getting the same amount of resistance on both hands. If one side was stronger or weaker, that would show that there is an asymmetry, and that would be a problem. The last cranial nerve that we will be testing is the hypoglossal nerve. To do this, I'm going to have you stick out your tongue for me. Perfect. Now right here, I'm just looking for any atrophy of the tongue and to make sure that's staying in the midline. You can put your tongue back down. If it was deviated away from the midline, then that would show that there is unilateral paralysis. Next, I'm going to have you push your tongue against each cheek, and I'm going to push back. Perfect. And other side. Very nice. Right here, I'm looking for equal resistance when I push to make sure that the tongue is strong on both sides of the face. Okay, and that is how you screen for all 12 cranial nerves. Thank you for being a great patient.